Coming up on Tar Valon After Dark.
Ticket to 11.
I am gonna kink ask you not to tell me about it.
Next stop, the G-spot.
I speak for all of us on all matters.
You fuckers.
The light illumine you, and welcome to Tar Valon After Dark. My name is Jess, the Emerald Seat, and I'm here at the Thirsty Tinker, Tar Valon's most disreputable inn, located in scenic North Harbor. Hail and well met, beloved listeners. We're here, all four of us, and it's like a real full show, like the whole enchilada today. We have news, we have almond bun, blah, 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 blah. We have news, we have almond bun movie reviews, and we're going to pitch some underrated shows for your consideration. But first, let me introduce my partners in debauchery, Nameless, Kevin, and Jenny Sedai, assuming that Kevin doesn't
Yes.
again.
At least two of your partners in debauchery.
I'm here.
Yes.
Kevin looked like he was here until you were about to introduce him.
Then he
Which
disappeared.
I will say.
Stop messing up my segment name, Jess. Stop messing it up.
Sorry,
Well-
I'm sorry.
So our pre-show, right? Jenny and Jess had a really healthy flow of a discussion. There was a good, healthy flow of conversation going backwards and forth about periods.
Yep.
And every time they would be talking about it, Kevin would just leave. And we thought, I initially thought Kevin was just being funny, but his internet wasn't working. And then he cut out again. So,
Well, of course, the irony there is that he's the one who brought it up in the first place by saying that men were going to take back menstruation, and Jenny and I were both like, "You can't,
Like, you can have it. You can have it.
We're also taking back menopause for the manosphere,
Yep.
okay, everybody? So,
Yep.
men, get ready, because
Yep.
the flow
Ready.
is going to be heavy.
your shit's going to get fucked up."
That's going to be blood coming out of your dick, guys. Get ready.
oh God. Okay.
Wow.
Good morning.
Ticket to 11. Welcome to the show.
It
Welcome
was
to
an
our-
abstract concept. and you
Welcome
made
to
it
our
wrong.
fantasy
Go
show.
back, baby.
Welcome to our fantasy podcast.
Yes. I mean, that is, I guess, some fantasy.
People are going to be like, "What the fuck is this podcast?"
You don't know what people are into.
I mean, hopefully not that.
I'm gonna kink shame. I am gonna kink ask you not to tell me about it. That's what I'll do.
I'm going to kick ask you not to.
Wow.
Oh, God, that hit me right in the giggle thick. That was
It really did, apparently.
Jeez. All right.
Oh, God.
Well,
Next stop, the G-spot.
I think.
No,
That's
we
going to be
want-
ours, too.
Are
No,
you trying? Oh, I thought you were trying to hit. Never mind. I thought you were trying to hit Jess in the G spot, not the.
No, we're taking it.
It's like, wow.
I'm like, look, I
are-
love you a lot, Kevin, but
We are taking this a bit far today. So
All right, let's go.
let's get into some news. How about that? Some fantasy
Yes,
news with this great transition.
well,
Okay.
you know what we always do is we always skip over the last part of the intro, which is where we talk about Patreon and all of that.
Well,
Other
they could
yeah,
hear
yeah,
all
yeah,
about. They could hear all about the Patreon, or I'm sorry, all about the menstruation discussion. If you are a patron, because you,
that is
oh
true.
my-
You can hear the whole thing. The
um,
whole thing.
I literally forgot about that.
Yeah, we were definitely recording it.
What do you think I was saying, Jenny? I was like, people are loving this. This is what the people want.
Sure.
So,
Okay, they can know that. It's fine.
If you support us on Patreon, you can watch us live as we're recording or after the fact on demand, and you can actually see us in the studio. You can see our faces when you do that and hear all of the pre-show banter, which is pretty fun. So you should definitely do that. Go to patreon.com/TVAD. /Tar Valon After Dark, my bad. And do that. You can also rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Audible, and you can rate us on Spotify. And I think you can leave comments on individual podcast episodes, because I was listening to Bjorn Landberg's podcast called Bed on the Beach. It's like a sleepy time podcast, which he's got a really great voice for a sleepy time podcast. And I was like looking at it and on my phone, and I like scrolled down and I could leave a comment on the actual episode. So it's not like a review per se, but it's a comment on the episode. So that might be something to look at if you're interested in doing that. And we often read reviews, 5-star reviews on the show. So if Nabes remembers to do it. So you should do that. You should review us and give us a 5-star review, and then we'll read it on the show and tell you how much we love you. And then also, given that it's Pride Month, it's appropriate to mention that we also have a partnership with Queerencia, which is an amazing queer Black-owned business in Columbus, Ohio. You can go to queerencia.co/TVAD and use promo code TVAD and get 10% off all of the queer stuff that you need for your life. And you need a lot of queer stuff in your life. So you should go do that right now. You could also join our Discord and talk to people and ask questions and share commercial ideas and shit like that. So go do that too. So
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
now,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah.
Don't make my internet
Yeah,
stop
sure,
again.
you betcha.
You betcha.
Yeah.
We didn't do it to your internet.
Well, I don't know what we're talking about, but let's do the news. How about
It's
that?
Join
Tempting.
the Patreon so you can see the faces that Kevin makes.
You're tempting fate.
Welcome to the news. Doot, doot, doot. That's the let's kick things off. We'll start with the Wheel of Time, and we'll end with the Wheel of Time. How's that? So
Okay.
No
and there's some
beginnings or
news in
endings. There
between.
goes Kevin.
And there goes Kevin.
Yes.
Kevin will not be participating in the news segment today. So we'll start with talking about Save Watt. So for those that are been hiding under a rock, the Wheel of Time TV series on Amazon was unceremoniously canceled. Just a little ways back here, and there has been quite the campaign here to see, obviously to get the show picked up by another platform. I don't think that there is hope for Amazon to reverse their decision, right? But there is hope potentially that another streaming service like an Apple or a Netflix might pick it up. So SaveWatt.com is run by, there's a lot of folks behind this, so I don't want to start naming names, but some people that are very friendly with us.
Yes. Can I name? No, I won't. I was going to say I won't.
We could start, and then we would be down the list of people that we could not name.
Exactly.
And I don't want to give credit to any one person for it. But there is now what is the petition up to? 180,000 ish.
182 or something. Yeah.
And there's been a fundraiser to raise money that is then now supporting, which is actually really cool. You can see some of the cast actually posting this stuff. But there are planes flying banners above, offices around the world. There are banners in Times Square in London. Jenny, you might be able to speak to some more of this, but
Australia, London, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Times Square, and it like the ones in Australia are for today because there's a Comic-Con that's going on. So there's literally somebody walking around with a billboard, and there's 2 mobile billboards going on there. It's pretty cool. The billboards look really cool. Yeah.
Well, and apparently, I was talking to Rob from Melchior Talks yesterday. We were doing a rewatch live stream, and he said that there's one that's going to go up in Culver City where
it's the static one.
Static billboard. It's going to be up there for a month, and all of the studio executives have to drive by it to get to the studio. So for an entire month, they're going to be looking at that billboard. So that was pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. You may be asking, right, like, what's the point of this, right? Like, why are they doing it? And, here's the deal, right? The odds of this being successful
Small.
They're small, okay?
Yeah.
Because some of these people, like, what they're really trying to do is create and generate publicity, because what publicity does is it puts public pressure on people, right? And it can potentially tip a decision-making process.
And
So-
it has worked in the past, as Rafe even said in one of his statements, or in his main statement.
Right.
One of the reasons that they chose to go with Amazon is because a campaign similar to the one that is happening now for Wheel of Time was happening for The Expanse, and Amazon picked up The Expanse after it had been canceled by another service. So he's like,
Oh,
okay.
irony.
Yeah. So like Amazon is like, that is a success story, The Expanse getting picked up, but it has happened for other things as well. So it is, obviously the odds are slim, but I am keeping hope alive. So
Yeah.
I choose to remain optimistic.
So that is Save Watt, and there is quite a bit still
Yeah.
going on. So one thing that you can do if you are interested in saving Watt, what you could do is head to savewatt.com. There are multiple ways on that website for you to get involved. You can write letters, you can post things, you can support financially, you could do a number of different things, and that website does a great job of illustrating all of the different ways that you can get involved. So
yeah, they have all the addresses that you can send like postcards and letters to, which I think is probably one of the best things that could be done at this point. 'Cause the petition is good, obviously, but the petition itself, I don't think anybody's going to look at a petition and go, "Oh, there's this many signatures, I should take." But the petition is getting headlines, so that's what's good for the. But I think like a studio exec going into their office and having a pile of postcards on their desk, that is going to leave an impression, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next up in the news is let's shift focus to Star Wars for a moment. So, for those, are you two Star Wars fans, right, in any way, shape, or form?
In some ways and shapes and forms,
Yeah.
but I'm not really
I like
aware
Star
of
Wars.
new stuff. Yeah, not aware of the new stuff very much.
So they obviously a couple years back, so not more than a couple, it's been years back, they released a movie called Rogue One, which was basically the direct prequel, right, to
Yeah.
A New Hope, which was the first movie for
episode
Star
1,
Wars.
yeah.
Okay. And Rogue One, while the end product actually ended up being really good, it was like fraught with disaster as they were recording it. Like it was all messed up. They had all kinds of reshoots. But it ended up being a pretty good movie. Probably one of the better new era Star Wars movies. So, Disney obviously owns Star Wars. They own Marvel. They have their streaming service, Disney Plus. They have released a ton of new television shows, right? The Acolyte, which you did watch, Jenny, didn't you?
No, I didn't watch The Acolyte.
I could have sworn we talked about you watching it. I don't know. Okay.
I had thought I would. I don't know if we talked about it, but I know I had thought about watching it because I do love Rosario Dawson,
I actually
but
think
I
you
never got around to watching it.
I think you would like The Acolyte. Rosario Dawson is not in it.
Oh, she's not?
No. She's
thought
in The
she was the-
Mandalorian.
Oh,
She's Ahsoka.
See, this is how little I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I did know
Yep.
she was Ahsoka,
Yeah,
but
she's
I thought Ahsoka was the Acolyte. This is I know
No.
nothing.
The Acolyte
Don't
is.
take away my nerd card. Don't take it away.
I'm taking it away. Yeah, The Acolyte was canceled for being too woke. Which means you'd probably love it.
Oh, probably. Okay.
It was woke in all the right ways. It was good, actually. I like The Acolyte.
I had literally no idea. The one thing I thought I knew about it, I didn't know, so I know nothing.
Well, I have wandered off of the point, actually. So
Yeah.
let me get back to it. So, basically my point on this is, since Disney has purchased Lucasfilm, there have been very, very mixed results because the final sequel trilogy was kind of a hot mess.
Yeah.
The last three movies, with the last of the three being absolutely fucking terrible. One of the worst movies I've ever seen, in my
I
opinion.
can't remember it.
It's that bad. The Emperor somehow returned.
That line, yes,
yeah.
yeah.
That movie's terrible. But one of the things that they've done is they've had these new shows. Well, Obviously, the star of the new trilogy, and this is unfortunate to me because I really, really wanted to see a awesome, badass female Jedi character. But Rey was just done so poorly, in my opinion. I love Daisy Ridley. I think her performance is great. But
they went back and forth with what they did with her. Like they couldn't decide. Yeah,
they couldn't write her correctly. Like it was a hot mess. Anyways,
it was really weird.
There has been a there has been a planned Rey solo movie for a long time, right? That's been kind of lingering in the background, and they keep delaying it. And again, it just came out again that they have also now indefinitely delayed it again, which means, in my opinion, as you read into this stuff, it means to me that they are just not doing it.
Yeah,
they're trying to quietly kill it. They are making a couple more Star Wars movies, one called Starfighter that will star Ryan Gosling, and it'll be after the sequel trilogy. There is a Dawn of the Jedi movie which they're making, which will be like a prequel for a long ago. So they're not done making Star Wars movies, but this has been delayed. And I guess part of my question, or part of the reason for bringing it up, was what were your thoughts on the character of Rey? Like, do we need to see a Rey solo movie? Like, I feel like she just never got written properly. Like, it was just this, hey, let's make her do this. Let's make her do this. Right?
Yeah. I remember liking her in the first one and then getting confused because they just seemed to like it. I don't really actually remember much of the plot of those three movies, to be honest.
There wasn't much of a plot, so you can be forgiven.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Would I see it? Maybe. I admit to having gotten a bit of fatigue with Star Wars. Like, I haven't watched any of the shows, and it's the same thing that happened with like Marvel movies. The last Marvel movie, I came out of the theater going, "Yeah, I think I'm done." Like, and it wasn't the movie was bad. It was just like, I've apparently had my fill of Marvel, and I think that was sort of the feeling I had coming out of the last Star Wars movie, just being like, all right, I guess I'm done with that now. And it's not that I don't like. I didn't come out of it hating it. It was just like, eh.
Hey, Kevin, why don't you say something about this, just so we know that you were in the podcast episode at some point?
I appreciate that so much.
Yes,
I was contemplating. I was like, I don't think I'm the kind of Star Wars viewer who watches it and goes, "Oh, that was a fun movie," and that's all I think about. I don't watch any of the Star Wars shows. I'm not in any forums. I don't Wheel of Time Star Wars, basically, is what I'm trying to say, like I do with Wheel of Time. So would it have been a good movie? Maybe. I mean, she was decent enough as an actor. I liked what she brought to screen, whether the material lived up to it or not. It was an entertaining enough movie. I don't take it too seriously, so I probably would have seen it. But also, I really don't see a lot of the spin-off stuff. Like, I haven't watched any of the Star Wars shows because it's just not a universe that captures my attention quite in the same kind of way. So I'm always just kind of neutral on it. But yeah, 10 out of 10. Thanks.
10 out of 10.
Most of the shows are very campy. I will make one.
Yeah.
This is going to seem out of nowhere to you guys, but you have to trust me on this. You should watch Andor.
I've heard a lot of people.
I've heard a lot of really good things about it.
Yeah,
it is one of the best, not only like the best Star Wars thing that's ever been made, but it's like probably one of the better TV shows ever, right? It is really, and it's such a different tone from everything else Star Wars that's ever come out. And it runs directly into Rogue One. So like it is like the lead up to that. I cannot stress enough how good that show is.
Which I liked as well. Yeah.
I remember liking Rogue One, so it's been on my list.
Well, Andor,
it was good.
High. It's so different from the other Star Wars shows. There's no Jedi in it, by the way. Like there's no Force. There's none of that. Like it's just really good. Rebels and yeah. Well, it's like the beginning of the Rebel Alliance, and it's like this. What's really good about it is like there are themes to it that Star Wars doesn't always have, right? That are like, what would you sacrifice to defeat tyranny?
Right.
And what's the limit? And what are the personal bounds? And like, what are the, it asks really difficult questions where there's a lot of gray area. Like, it's just such a good show.
Okay.
Anyways, highly recommend.
Well, perhaps I will watch it on my reaction channel. Finally,
Yeah.
do something there. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So, all right, next piece of news. Yeah, Andy Serkis is in it. It's great. Next piece of news. So, one of my favorite. I am a big fan of zombie movies. Always have been. Now, to me, there are. If you know the history of zombie movies, like you go back to like George Romero, like obviously the purpose isn't to talk about zombies. Usually, there's social commentary that is going on about people. And
Yes, the real monster was the humans or whatever. Yeah. It's
And
like, I know what you're about to talk about. Okay, I know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
Sorry, saying that twigged it in my brain.
Well, there are good zombie movies and bad ones. Okay. Two of the best ones that have ever come out, in my opinion, are 28 Days Later, which came out in the late 90s, and then the sequel to that, which was 28 Weeks Later. Both of those are very, very good movies that kind of they're both action-packed, but they also follow like what happened. I just really appreciated the way it was done. There is a new one out, right? So 28 Years Later has just come out, and it is getting very, very, very good reviews.
Have you seen
I
it
have yet to see it. I need to go see it. I haven't had time. I wish. There's actually a bunch of
It was
movies. Yeah.
The monster was the humans, was made me go, oh yeah, that's 28 Days Later. That's literally what that movie is.
Yes. And so I am quite excited to actually go see that. But just to say, if you are somebody who likes that type of movie, they're not overly gory. Like, they are and they aren't. It's not like Walking Dead where you're seeing them like eating a body. Like, there's blood in it, but it's not really. The zombies aren't.
There's jump scares
Yeah.
and stuff.
But yeah, they're very good. So, okay, I told you that we would start with the Wheel of Time and end with the Wheel of Time. So we have two Wheel of Time related pieces of news to end here. First, Tom Doherty, who is the head of Tor Books, has released an interview on winteriscoming.com, which I recommend just taking a look at if you want to. There's nothing groundbreaking in it. But he just talks about the journey of the book series and how they got to releasing it, how he started Tor Books, and if you don't know much about Tor, basically Wheel of Time built it.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the only property, but it was like it was the reason the company grew. And now obviously Brandon Sanderson writes with them, and that's great. So
did Bree, by the way. Bree had 3 books published by Tor, which, as a big Wheel of Time nerd, that was so exciting for her to be like,
hell yeah. I bet.
Tor, her Mercenary Librarian series, which I highly recommend. It's very saucy, very naughty.
ooh.
Love that.
Is there monster fucking in it?
There's not really monsters in Mercenary Librarian. There's monsters in her new series with the horny dragons, like Consort of Fire, but in Mercenary Librarians, no.
Horny dragons.
I love that
Speaking
she herself refers to them as the Horny Dragon books.
Yes, the actual title is Consort of Fire.
Well, speaking of horniness, so in just about 3 weeks from today, we will all 4 of us be at WatCon.
I'm not sure how the segue, speaking of horniness, got that, but yes.
I'm horny to see you guys.
WatCon is
Yay!
basically one giant orgy.
But I'm Slayer of Orgies.
But Jenny will slay the orgy, and we'll just have a normal convention. So,
It all balances out in the end.
So
Yes,
if you're not
yes,
familiar with WatCon, which I'd be surprised if many of you weren't, but WatCon is a Wheel of Time focused convention that happens in Columbus, Ohio every single year. We are on to our 4th WatCon.
Look at us go.
We actually helped put it on, and this is going to be the largest one yet.
Nabes is like the man in charge. He makes so much of this shit happen.
Nabes is the HBIC of WatCon.
So
That's what he
like,
is.
yeah, he is absolutely the HBIC
Well,
of WatCon.
I don't know what that means, but
Head
Head
in
bitch
charge.
in charge.
oh, I did help. I don't do all of it. Let's be clear. This is a Jess does social medias, and right, like there's tons
True,
of
I
people
do
that
that.
make this happen. No one person could do this. So
Well, yeah, but
Um,
it's sort of like you're the I feel like you're the fearless leader, and also you deal with all the stuff like contracts and shit, and what I assume was insurance we had to get so that we could get those costumes. Like,
we're still working on that. So that is a pain in the ass. Trying to find somebody who will insure costumes from the show, which by the way is something that's happening. So
Can't believe that's happening.
we will have, in fact, I'm going to put them here's a good reason for you to become a patron so that you can see let me take that out. I'm going to put this in the chat so we can discuss it. But the costumes that are going to be there are pretty damn cool. We are going to have a Lanfear costume, a Elida costume,
Oh my god!
Uh,
the blue!
the Savannah costume, and the Moraine costume will all be there at the con.
Oh,
Oh my god!
yeah, I'm
And
Holy fuck.
you will be
what
able
about
to,
High
you'll
Lord
be,
Turok?
you'll be able to try them on. I'm joking. No, you won't.
No,
we're not going to be able to touch those fuckers.
No.
you will be able to take pictures with them though. So this is exciting. So not only will Sharon Gillum is our guest of honor, along with Michael Kramer and Kate Redding, who are the awesome audiobook readers for the Wheel Time,
Yeah.
and are among the most fun people on the planet.
Oh, so
They're
light.
great.
Seriously, they'll
Easily.
drink under the table. They will dance you.
Like, literally,
Into the
Kate Redding is this tiny little pocket-sized woman, and she can outdrink every single person in that fucking convention, myself
Yep.
included.
Yep. And Michael Kramer like closed out the dance floor last time.
Yes, he
Last
did.
year.
Yeah, the man
Yeah.
is an animal.
Yeah.
Maria Simmons will be there.
Is
She
Maria
is
going to be there
Of
as well?
course.
Maria
Yes.
will be there.
Oh.
Very sweet. Very demure. I'm joking.
And very funny.
She's
Very
hilarious.
mindful.
Very
Yeah, she
mindful.
really is.
Very mindful. Gosh. Yes, but Sharon will be there to show off the costumes, and not only that, this is the biggest WatCon we've ever had, which is pretty encouraging.
Ooh.
So it'll be the biggest WatCon. Also, the most first timers will be at this one. They're going to be
Nice.
close
Yeah,
to
like
80.
80, I think
They're
he
like
said.
80 first timers will be at this WatCon.
So many new friends.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, though, in-person registration is closed. However, one thing that is really awesome about WatCon, and I truly say this because obviously I'm biased, but I also say it because I think it is a really cool feature. We have a very, very robust virtual option for this convention. There is a cost associated with it. It's a $50 cost. However, you get, I mean, I would say it's close to 50 something hours of content.
Yeah.
We film literally everything. So there are two Kevins on the screen right now.
Yeah, this is weird.
But we film everything. So every panel, every main stage, there are private interviews with the guests. You actually have free time, like where you're going to go around with the camera. Not only do you get to watch, though, it's also very interactive. So we're going to read questions from you on the audience, right? The guests will respond directly to you. So we have done a lot of technology and a lot of people work behind that to make that happen. So if you're not able to make it in person to Columbus, which if you're not already signed up, you are not able to make it in person to Columbus because
Yeah.
you can be
Please
a part
don't show up. We can't let you in.
Yes, we can't let you in. But next year will be a thing, and there is a virtual option, which I highly recommend, which you can go to watcon.com and learn all about the virtual options. And I would be paying attention to that because if you are dying to come hang out with us and you aren't able to be at WatCon, let me just drop this as a hint. There may be more opportunities this year. Wink, wink. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So that is
Look on Kevin's
that
face.
is the
like, what
news.
fuck? Join the Patreon. You'll get to see Kevin's face. It's really good.
Kevin has a lovely face just in general, but
It's a
right
wonderful
now it
face.
is truly spectacular.
And I'm going to throw these costumes up just one more time for the patrons only. So you might want to become a patron. See those?
I am
See those?
so,
Those are
especially
so
about the
exciting.
Elida one, like,
Yeah, that one's
I'm
pretty nuts.
stoked.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, this is going to be so cool.
Okay. We are
So
all done
cool.
with the news. Let's do while we
right.
have Kevin.
Oh, but Jenny has a...
Well, no,
Oh yeah,
we have,
that's right. That's right. No,
Oh,
that's right.
okay.
We do. Oh yeah. Ignore what I
was
just
gonna say,
did.
No, I
Ignore what I
always
just
go
did.
after Jenny.
Ignore
Oh.
what I just did.
Oh,
But
okay.
now that
All right.
we're not done with the news, ignore what I said. So next up in the news, we will throw it over to our 1930s transatlantic accent correspondent. Let's be nerdy to tell us about this week in nerd history.
Yes. Once again, the headphones go off because y'all make me laugh too much.
See?
Ah, see?
Ah.
All right, all you hepcats and time-traveling whiz-bangs, grab your goggles and cinch your corsets. It's time once again to step into the sepia-toned splendor of yesteryear and relive the geeky greatness that made this week the bee's knees. Let's start with a birthday bash. Born June 16th, 1890, Stan Laurel, half of the greatest slapstick duo to ever take a pie to the face. And a happy fictional birthday to Krypton! Or rather, commiserations, as the planet actually exploded on this day in 1938. Sorry, Kal-El. Maybe check the weather next time. This week also celebrates the birth of M.C. Escher, whose mind-bending art made staircases loopier than a Mobius strip, and Paul McCartney, the Beatle who taught us all to let it be. And hey, June 19th is the birthday of both Mo Howard of the Three Stooges and Garfield the Cat. One gave us a million bonks to the head, the other gave us lasagna, Mondays, and a smug disdain for authority. Honestly, same energy. This week gives us a bevy of historical honeys, but let's be honest, one star outshines them all. Born on June 17th, 1982, under a constellation of brilliance and charm, the one, the only, Jodie Whittaker. Actress, trailblazer, and, speaking directly in the interest of scholarly observation, a celestial grade babe. Jodie stepped into the Doctor Who spotlight as the 13th Doctor, instantly stealing scenes and hearts with a Yorkshire accent, rainbow suspenders, and enough charisma to regenerate the timeline itself. For some of us, it wasn't just timey-wimey, wibbly-wobblies getting tangled. It was feelings. Next up, inventions, firsts, and feats of scientific snaz. Back in 1816, Lord Byron, the original emo aristocrat, challenged his house guests to write ghost stories, including Mary Shelley, who promptly created Frankenstein. That's right, without a rainy night and a bit of boredom, we might never have had mad scientists and misunderstood monsters in our nerd canon. On June 16, 1963, Valentina Tereshkova became the first woman in space, showing the boys that space ain't just a gentleman's club. And in 1983, Sally Ride followed her lead and became the first American woman to rocket past the stratosphere. Glass ceilings? More like atmosphere ceilings, baby. And if you prefer your science fictional, June 22nd, 1943 marks the in-universe date where Steve Rogers received the super soldier serum and became Captain America. Not bad for a guy who used to lose fights in Allies. And there you have it, my whiz-bang wanderers. From ghost stories, challenges to Kryptonian kabooms, this week in nerd history is the cat's pajamas, the ant's umbrellas, and the moon's monocle all rolled into one. Until next time, keep your slide rules polished, your dates memorized, and your time machines fueled up. This has been your Nerd History Report, signing off with a wink and a gentle reminder that the past is just the present, with more epaulets and worse dental care.
Well done. My favorite
Not
was
know
the
why I kept fucking up.
fuckity fuck, see?
Okay, fuck.
Ah.
I don't know why.
I have to
was
say
fucking-
that Kevin's audio track is going to be a fucking nightmare because
It
it's
will
going to be
be.
like 18
8
separate
different ones.
files for every time he joins.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yep. Have fun with that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm excited.
All right. I think it's time for, we could just do this now, since there's no real reason to edit out the commercial. Do you just want to do the
Yeah,
commercial?
that's fine.
All right.
That works for me.
That way we don't have to record it later.
Yeah, that works.
All right. Well, then do the word from our sponsor, and then you read it.
Okay. And now, a word from our sponsor. Hey there, horny Tarvalin residents. Summer is upon us, and it's time to check out the Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace Summer Collection, guaranteed to make you feel friskier than a wolf brother in mating season. Our summer collection contains powerful magical relics like Kalendor. This long crystal sword is ready to be sheathed wherever you want to put it. But men, just make sure you have 2 women handy to help you use it safely. Trust me, it's definitely a sword that's not a sword. Here at Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace, we are kink-friendly, especially to all you doms and subs, and we've got equipment for as kinky as you want to get. For you mild doms, check out our warder bondage kit. Just bond that sub as your warder and hand them their color-changing thong, and you can feel their submission through the bond. If they're being a bit bratty, all it takes is a bit of forcing through the bond, and they'll be an obedient little sub for life. But what if you're more extreme? Don't worry, we have something for you. Force your sub to swear to you on the oath rod, and they'll be yours until you release them from their oaths. Plus, that long, smooth rod can be used for so much more than swearing. Have you ever wanted to have an orgy and some crazy Canadian girl mess it up? Have no fear. Erotica Sedai has a solution for you. Who doesn't like to give a good blow? Well, crazy Canadian girls don't, but for those that do, the Horn of Valir can solve your orgy problem. All it takes is some really good blowing, and you'll summon a literal army of legendary lovers and sex warriors for the most legendary orgy of all time. Ardor Hawkwing? More like Ardor Cockring. Learn why they call her Brigitte Silverbow. She isn't gonna miss your hole. Did you meet another sweet lesbian girl and immediately want to move in together, as one does, but found out they live far away? Use one of our special Sex Hut painting ter'angreal to stay in touch with your soulmate you just met once from anywhere in the world.
I've seen one episode.
Get on your knees. So come on down to Erotica Sedai's Pleasure Palace this summer and enjoy our summer collection. You can find us right next door to the Thirsty Tinker Inn in the Tarvalin Red Light District near North Harbor. Once you come see us, you'll never have a problem coming again.
God. Oh my God.
Those are so much fun. Thank you for writing that. I love those.
Oh, wow.
Kevin, are you back with us?
I don't.
He can't, because he's turned off his camera.
Well, he turned off his
so-
camera, but I don't know if we can
Oh.
hear him.
I'm here.
There
Hello.
he
Oh,
is. Yay.
he's
Okay,
in the
good.
stream with audio only.
I came
Okay.
in at just in time for Ardor Cockring, and it was awesome.
Yes. Arthur Cockring was very, very good.
That was very funny.
She isn't gonna miss your hole.
Oh. It was probably best because I was like braying like a donkey laughing, so it's for the best.
Oh,
All right,
my God.
let's while we have Kevin, why don't
Yes,
we
yes.
out of order
I've
record
been-
Kevin's thing?
I've been getting prepared, and with my rage and fury of this internet. Welcome back, you fuckers, to another take.
I got a lot of rage, guys. I'm sorry. I'm really angry.
I love that.
Oh, all right.
You fuckers.
All right.
All right. Welcome back, you fuckers, to another edition of Almond Bun's patented movie reviews in 10 words or less. And I'm filled with rage. I'm full of piss and vinegar today, so we're gonna get right into it. Number 1 movies, Sinners. The only sin I saw were them popcorn prices. 9 out of 10. 28 years later. The title accurately describes how much this film aged me. 10 out of 10. The Minecraft movie. They tried to pay me to say chicken jockey. 9 out of 10. Thunderbolts New Avengers asterisk. Who? 1 out of 10. And last, friendship. I hoped I would have a friend after. Still got none. 10 out of 10. Thank y'all, you little fuckers, for coming in for another Almond Buns fucking patented movie reviews in 10 words or less or fucking some shit. Oh, fuck. Get out of here.
I think I like Almond Bun pissed off more.
Oh my god! Angry Almond Bunt. Wow.
Almond Bunt's angry patented movie reviews.
I think
In
I like
10 angry words or less.
angry old man Albert.
Oh,
Oh wow.
I'm glad my connection seems stable. If you can't see my ugly mug, it's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, your
well, we
mug
love
is
your ugly
delight.
mug, but that's okay. We're just glad you're here.
Me too. I'm just glad to
Speak
be
for
here.
yourself, Jess. I'm joking.
I speak for all of us on all matters.
Yes.
I know you do. You do. All right. What the fuck was our main topic today? That tells you.
Pitch meeting.
That's right. So today's main topic, I'm going to let Jenny explain it because if this is if you guys hate this main topic, it is entirely Jenny's fault.
Yep.
That's why I'm going to let her
How does the
explain it.
underside of that bus look?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after the commercial as well. So I did run over her on that one too. So
You did a little bit, yes.
Yeah, a little
is-
bit.
which is sort of the way this podcast goes. But I do
Yeah.
love Jenny. So Jenny, I will let you explain this because it is actually a wonderful idea. But you'll be better at explaining it than I.
Well, basically, I thought we could do our version of a pitch meeting where we talk about something that we really love, some form of media that we really love that the rest of us probably haven't seen, and try and sell them on it. And that's pretty much what it is. Pitch it.
Which I love. Okay, so let's kick this off with Jenny because
Oh.
you often have many things that you have seen that others should see. So yeah, I'd be interested in hearing yours.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be real mercenary with it because this was actually the show that I thought of when I thought of this idea originally. And it's going to end up with me advertising my other podcast. But yeah, Babylon 5. I want to pitch Babylon 5 to you. It's a 90s show. So with all of that entails, it's a 90s sci-fi show that I think Wheel of Time fans would love. It is one of the, I don't know if it is the first, a lot of people will say it is the first. I'm hesitant to say that because there's always going to be an exception to that, but it definitely is one of the first long form serialized shows where there are things that are like brought up early in the season one that you don't find out the answers to until like 2, 3, 4 seasons later. And there are clues seeded in throughout. It really stands up well on a rewatch because then you get, it's the same as rereading The Wheel of Time where you go back, you're like, ooh, they seeded this early. It's really kind of fun to watch that grow. And yeah, it has a character in it that I have discovered I'm a little bit in love with. I just think it is one of the best written shows. You do have to deal with the campiness of a 90s sci-fi show. That is, I do have to give that caveat, but if you can get past that, I think it is well worth it.
I've always wanted to watch Babylon 5. It's just never been, like, I even remember thinking it would be my thing when it was doing its original run because they would always show but for whatever reason, I just never decided to start it. And of course that was like, I always felt like I couldn't start because it had already been going.
Yeah.
Right? And back then it wasn't like the days now where you can go back and rewatch a whole show from the beginning.
No.
Right.
it was I said this to Gus and Ali like on the Babylon podcast, but I remember because I did try to watch it when it was originally airing, and I gave up on it about season 3 because I could not. Like, this is how early it was in this idea of serialized television. I was so frustrated with the fact that like I would miss an episode or two and then come back and not understand what was happening. Like that would be like, I don't get why are these two characters angry with each other? They weren't like they were friends, and I don't like it. That was not normal. Like that was not normal on television at the time, and so I watched it for the first time with early Netflix, like when they would send you the DVDs in the mail, and I just sat through and watched it all, and it is a show that rewards you for paying attention. Which again, like I feel like that is a thing that Wheel of Time fans are, like people who and it definitely has it has such nuanced storytelling. They were doing things that other shows were I think didn't do as well. And yeah, so.
Well, I will at some point check it out because it is a big commitment, and I'll give my Wheel of Time answer. It's just so much. So I will go. Mine is a show that I've talked about on here, and it's weird because it was not a show that I was into. And it's also not a sci-fi show. So this is not a sci-fi or fantasy show. It's actually a reality show. I am going to recommend RuPaul's Drag Race.
Nice.
I am not somebody I've never been to a drag show. So I want to be clear. Like I am not your typical gay. Not that you can lump all of us into one category. However, right. Like I've not been somebody who goes to clubs. I'm not into that scene. However, I find drag, especially like comedic drag, I find it hilarious, right? Like the irony of it. And this show is so funny to me. I find drag queens hilarious. So any case, if you have never seen it, right? So, have any of you ever seen RuPaul's Drag Race or have ever watched?
No.
Jess, you watched it with
I've seen one episode.
Yeah, we were pretty drunk, and we did kind of almost pass out on his couch holding hands, as one does with your gay bestie. But it is very entertaining, and I will also say that I have a huge amount of respect for the skill and artistry that goes into creating a drag persona, like the wigs, the makeup, all of that shit. Like that takes skill.
Yeah.
It also takes a lot of money. Like those people invest a ton of money into that. And it actually, there is, so for those coming to WalkCon, I see the question in the chat anyway, there is a huge drag community in Columbus, as a matter of fact. So Nina West, who is a very famous drag queen, lives in Columbus. There's a couple clubs here that they perform at. It's just never something I've gone to. But the premise of the show, right, is it's a reality competition. It's basically on all year because they're doing a new episode. Then they do like an All-Stars episode where they bring in people from the past, or a season, I'm sorry. So there's always a season going. But they compete in a number of different contests, and they bring in like celebrities. Like they've had like really famous people on here to judge it. Like Ariana Grande was on this season. Katy Perry's been on. You have like country singers. You have like Lady Gaga's been on there as guest judges. They put them through a number of competitions, and they do runway looks, and they do comedy, and it's really, really entertaining, and it's funny. I highly recommend watching it from the beginning. I think it's very, very enjoyable. And you learn a lot about a different type of culture, because I think people have an association with what drag is, and it is cosplay. Like that's legitimately what it is. And it's cosplay with intentionality. Like it is meant to be kind of a farce of, it's both very, very empowering, but it's also sort of like a caricature of women. Yeah. In a sense. I don't mean it to put it in that way, but it is like, yes, you just have to see it. I guess I'll put it that way.
Okay.
I think it's great. So
I know
there's my pitch.
Bodhi is super into Drag Race. Like he does drag reactions, and
Yeah.
he's interviewed a bunch of the queens and stuff. Not from like RuPaul's Drag Race, but from like
Mhm.
Drag Race Thailand, Drag Race Philippines, and stuff like that. So, cool.
Do it.
Hmm.
All right, Kevin, since we have you for now, let's hear
Pitch
yours.
us.
Pitch us on something.
Yeah, until I'm lost forever into the void. I'm going to pitch something also not fantasy or sci-fi, just to mess with all you little nerds out there. And this is going to be a comedy sketch show. I can't tell if you can hear me, but I'm just going to keep talking because your cameras are flickering. And
hear
I'm
you.
just going to power through this, no matter what, rain or shine. Perfect. Thank you. Anyway, the show I'm going to pitch is called I Think You Should Leave. And that's not what I'm going to do just now. It'd be really funny if it kicked me from the call right now. But I Think You Should Leave is a comedy sketch show written and hosted and created by Tim Robinson, who was very briefly on SNL. You might have recognized him from there. He's also in the movie Friendship, which I'm going to see on Tuesday. So obviously, Alman Bunt didn't go with any friends, but I'm going with a couple of my friends to see that. So I'm looking forward to that. But I Think You Should Leave is a very absurdist, very my humor sketch comedy show. I think that the first episode, I was crying from laughing within the first few sketches. It's pretty hit and miss. Most comedy shows are. I don't think that anyone should expect a comedy show to be 100% hits all the time, because you got to have lulls. You got to have time to rebound, build up the laughs from silly jokes, and then you get something that hits you out of nowhere. And this show, for me, it's one of the best sketch comedy shows I've seen in the last 5-10 years. And I watch a lot of sketch comedy shows when they come out. So it's got a few shows out. It's on Netflix. That's really all the only place it lives. That's the only downside if you don't have it. But yeah, I mean, there's just the number of times that I find myself accidentally slipping references from sketches into the show into just regular conversation is enough of a reason for me to try to pitch it as a very good one. If you've ever watched Mr. Show in the past, other sketch comedy shows with Bob Odenkirk and David Cross, I think they did Bob and David as well. Similar, kind of along those veins. You're gonna like this one. So that's my pitch for I Think You Should Leave.
Okay. I really like sketch shows actually. Yeah, because I like the
Same.
Black Lady sketch show. Key and Peele was
Yes, yeah.
So
Key and Peele
good.
is another one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
Key and Peele is great. I love.
Yeah.
I mean, it even going back to the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love
there's
Chappelle's show.
There's a beauty in comedy that I think people the people who get angry about what you can and can't say with jokes, they don't realize that the beauty of comedy is that you don't get to say all the jokes. Certain jokes can only be said by certain people, and that's what makes it funny. It's not funny if you say the joke that's funny for someone else to say. Let them have their jokes, and you own the jokes that you can have, and just own that space. And that's the beauty of comedy for me. So
I'll give you another sketch comedy that was canceled during its first run because it was so controversial and they kept losing sponsors. Jenny and Jess, you might remember this. There's no way Kevin does.
Okay.
The Dana Carvey show.
Oh yeah.
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 If you ever want to, you can find clips of it.
oh,
it is first of all,
I
it
actually
has
do
a
know the Dana
stacked
Carvey show.
cast.
I know that.
It's like Louis C.K., Steve Carell. Who else is on that? It's tons of famous people. Were like correspondents on this show.
Yeah.
It is so funny. And it was canceled after a season. So
Yeah, because of the
That is
sponsors and
really
stuff. Yeah.
unfortunate. Dana Carvey's so fucking
it was
funny.
ahead of its time. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And you can find clips of it on YouTube too. So
Steve Carell, Steve Colbert, Robert Smigel.
yep, that's right. I forgot
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert was on it too.
Damn.
That's awesome. Yeah, I watched a little bit of that.
I love sketch comedy shows, so I'll pick that one up for sure.
All right, Jess, you're up. Pitch us.
All right. I'm going to pitch one that I think I've talked about briefly in the past, and it is I think it could potentially fall a little bit sci-fi, a little bit. It's a show called, it was on, I think, HBO back in the early aughts, called Dead Like Me. and it has Mandy Patinkin and Jasmine Guy in it, first of all.
Yeah.
Which right there should sell you on it. But it's about this 18-year-old girl named George who is killed untimely and becomes a Grim Reaper. And so it's all about sort of the life of people who become Grim Reapers. And not everybody does it. It's sort of like you become a Reaper when the Reaper who reaps you meets their quota to go to whatever the next level is. And you don't know what that quota is. You don't know how long it's going to take. It's just Mandy Patinkin hands out your Post-its for the day, and you go and you take your souls, and then you still have to live like a normal person. You still have to have a job. There are Reapers in the DMV and shit like that, so they can get you IDs and stuff like that to get you an entirely new personality. You don't look anything like you did when you were actually alive, and there's all this lore that goes along with it. If you don't reap the soul that you're supposed to reap, these little gremlins come after you called Gravelings. It's a fascinating show that really kind of explores grief and making a new life and found family, and it's also extremely funny. And I honestly cannot recommend it more highly. It's just a really excellent show.
Weird connection I have with that show. Okay, so George, yes, as you mentioned, when you're a Grim Reaper, you don't look anything like you originally looked. But the George, when she looks in the mirror, there's she sees what she looked like before. I worked with her, the girl who
you worked with Mirror George.
Yeah, when I was in Belize, she was living there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is such a crazy.
She wasn't the main George. She was the.
She was Reflection George.
Yes.
But it's really funny.
It's a
really
show.
funny, and I got the DVDs of the divorce, so suck on that, ex-husband. So I need to rewatch it. Actually, I haven't watched it in a while. So I think they had
2 seasons,
I think 2 seasons and a movie. I think.
I didn't. Or maybe I never saw the movie. I didn't know about the movie.
Yeah, I think there's a movie. Let me look it up and make sure that I'm not Dead Like Me movie. Yeah. Okay, Dead Like Me, Life After Death.
I will pick that up then.
Yep.
Well, guys, it's been a show. I don't think we need sessions because we literally just did them. But
we literally just did. Yeah.
So, Jess, get us the fuck out of here.
I'm going to take us the fuck out of here. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on Tar Valon After Dark. We hope you had a good time. We're sure you did. We're always delightful. As always, new episodes drop every week on TVED Tuesday. Make sure that you follow the show on Twitter and Blue Sky at Tar Valon Dark. And if you want to support the podcast, and obviously you want to do that, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Tar Valon After Dark. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Audible, and go to Querencia.co/TVAD. Use promo code TVAD to get 10% off on all of the queer stuff your queer little heart could desire. Thank you for joining us here at the Thirsty Tinker, and until next time, reap your souls.
Bye.
Bye.